Well, the news officially broke this morning. Democratic Governor Steve Bullock is running for the U.S. Senate to challenge Republican Steve Daines.
MTN's Mike Dennison reports Bullock's entry at this point wasn't a total surprise, but it does throw a huge, unexpected wrench into Montana's political landscape and turns our Senate race into one of the most watched and expensive contests in the nation.
Governor Bullock made it official Monday shortly after noon as he and his family strolled down the Capitol hallway from his office to the Secretary of State office, where he paid his $1,740 filing fee to become a candidate for the U.S. Senate. Afterwards, he told reporters that the nation needs a bipartisan common sense approach to tackling the big problems of the day, just like he's tried to take in Montana.
You look at some of the big challenges that we're facing, and they won't even tackle them. I think what I can bring is the experience of being governor of a state and actually having to listen to and work with people all across the state, and also work with people that we may not see the world eye to eye.
Bullock had spent months saying he wouldn't take the plunge to challenge Republican Senator Steve Daines. But he and his wife, Lisa, said it was a family decision to change course.
We felt as a family that there is something that is bigger and greater than the five of us need right now. We met as a family and asked kids for their input, which we took to heart. And we just made the decision as a family that at this time it's better to jump in and run and see what we can contribute. Not only for our state, but for our country.
Bullock kicked off his campaign at 6 a.m. Monday with a press release and video touting his accomplishments as governor. And within minutes, Montana was getting a flavor of what's in store. The National Republican Senatorial Committee released a blistering attack, saying Bullock wants to ban guns, impeach President Trump, and ignore illegal immigration. And a left-leaning group, Progressive Turnout Project, announced it would be sinking $750,000 into the race, hiring 26 field staffers in Montana to work toward Bullock's election. Montana State University political science professor David Parker told MTN News that it's just the beginning of what will be an epic battle.
If you look at all the people around the country that put money into races, so these are big donors, these are outside organizations, they're far more willing to take a look at the Montana race and decide, you know what, maybe we can put some money and invest in this race. Whereas before, that was going to be a lot less likely because none of the challengers had quite the reach or popularity that Steve Bullock does.
Republicans currently hold a 53-47 majority in the U.S. Senate. With Bullock's entry into the race, Democrats now have 5 seats they believe are possible flips that could give them the majority. But Bullock is far from a shoo-in for victory.
I think the first thing most of the viewers need to understand is that the advantage always goes to the incumbent, no matter how well qualified the challenger is. So I would still probably at the moment move the seat from a solid Republican seat to a lean Republican seat.
Daines and fellow Republicans have been preparing for many months for a possible Bullock run. And Senator Daines made it clear on Monday that he won't be backing down from the challenge.
This is the most consequential election in my lifetime. We're going to decide the next president of the United States. We'll decide who leads the United States Senate and thereby the future of the United States Supreme Court. This is a big deal for Montana. It's a big deal for our country. And I've always been consistent fighting for more jobs and less government and defending our Montana way of life.
There are other candidates in this race, Democrats, Republicans, a Green, and a Libertarian. But we all know the general election matchup is Steve versus Steve, Daines versus Bullock, 2 of the top political figures in the state. It was certain to be a close, tough contest, with the majority of the U.S. Senate hanging in the balance. At the Capitol, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
And incumbent Senator Steve Daines is reacting to Governor Bullock entering the Senate race. From Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C., Daines spoke on his race against Bullock and other topics, including fear of the spread of the coronavirus and the collapsing stock market.
Daines said there will be a clear contrast between himself and the governor on issues ranging from gun rights to immigration and the Supreme Court.
There's some major issues going forward here. The future of our courts will be a big issue because the United States Senate uniquely has the up or down vote on Supreme Court justice. I voted for Justice Gorsuch, for Justice Kavanaugh.
Bullock's filing changes the landscape of the Senate race significantly. Three dropped from the race today and endorsed Bullock following the early morning announcement. Cora Newman, the fundraising leader in the race, called on the other candidates to unify around Bullock, as did Helena Mayor Wilmot Collins and Bozeman resident Michael Knowles, who announced his withdrawal on Twitter. Loma Rancher John Muse is the only other Democrat candidate besides Bullock still in the race.